Hey, house guests. Welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Ian Cabello. I'm sorry. You know I'm not good at pronouncing people's names. But thank you so much for the support. However you say your name. We really, really do appreciate it, and we think you're awesome. And seriously, thank you again so much, Ian. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, like Ian, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. All right, so oh my god, we have so much to talk about. Okay, I feel like whenever it's a super easy week for like the first 5, maybe even 6 days, that last day is always insane. And this week really delivered. This last day, holy shit. Okay, so when we left off yesterday, it seems like Cliff had this thing all wrapped up. It seems like that all week. He was making individual deals with Nick, Christy, Sis, and Tommy, and Nicole, who had already guaranteed her vote for him. But he's trying to do these individual deals because Tommy was all like, oh, I said that there weren't going to be any new alliances formed this week, and I'm sticking to that. So basically, Tommy wants to wait and see who wins the next HOH and see if it's worth it for him to actually make a longer deal with Cliff. Lame. So now Cliff is promising people, okay, if you vote for me to stay, I will not target you if I win this next HOH. And then they're going to take it from there. Kat's campaigning was not going well. No one is believing that she would target Jackson, because if she really was, why would Holly and Jackson want her to stay? It's not making sense. The numbers are not adding up. It doesn't make sense. So, welcome to Waffle Wednesday. Oh my god. This is like a really high stack of waffles. So, Kat is continuing to persevere on the campaign trail. She does not want to go out without really giving it her all. So, she's campaigning to Nick, and she's sticking to her story that she wants Jackson out this coming week, whatever. If she wins HOH, she wants Jackson out. So then she's telling Nick, like, after I get rid of Jackson, I would love to work with you. She says we could be like a Tyler and Casey type duo. Like, I don't have a partner that I can work with like that yet. Okay, Holly. So she's telling him, like, you could be my dude. And Nick is saying, like, I'm really worried about the gender thing. He's worried that he's going to be targeted because he's a guy, because Jess has been saying, like, oh, I'm all for women's empowerment, I want to take out guys. So Kat is telling him, you don't have to worry about that, because Jess and I are super close. I can keep you safe with Jess, so don't worry about that at all. So then Nick actually tears up at the end of Kat's campaign, and Kat is thinking, like, oh shit, like, why is he doing that? That's super sketchy. So she asks him, did you already make a deal with Cliff? And he denies it. Such a liar. So Nick is like, no, it was just a really good campaign. I love you so much. I don't want you to go, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it seems like he was really affected by Kat's campaign. So Nick goes up to the HOH room to talk about it with Tommy, and he's telling Tommy all about Kat's campaign, and Nick says it just feels wrong sending Kat home for things that Jackson and Holly have done. It's not right. So Tommy's like, yeah, I get it, but, like, we have a better chance of making it to the end with Cliff here. So we gotta, leave the emotional stuff aside, stick to the plan, and keep Cliff this week. So then Nick is telling Tommy that he was talking to Jackson earlier, and he promised Jackson that he wouldn't put up him or Holly next week because he was worried that maybe they would come after him, so he made, like, a little deal with them. And then Nick is saying, okay, like, if I win HOH, I would put up Jess. That would be his target. And this feels like an improv thing, like Jess and he doesn't really know who would go up next to Jess, but he's saying, oh, I could put up Kat if she stays. these future scenarios. So he's definitely thinking about keeping Kat at this point. So he's saying, yes, Jess would be the target. If Jess won the veto, he's not really sure who the replacement would be. Would he make a big move and go after Holly and Jackson? Or would he go after one of the new six in their new, like, agreement? Not an alliance. Agreement. Wow, so he's already ready to freaking turn his back on, like, Cliff and Nicole, who he pulled into this alliance. Whatever. I think it's needless to say, Nick does not want to win this next HOH because he has a deal with everyone except for Jess. So, yeah, he does not want to win this HOH and have to make moves like that. So then, back to this week, Tommy reinforces we need to get rid of Kat still. We need to break up that trio of Kat, Jackson, and Holly. And Nick says, yeah, I'm still going to vote out Kat, but it sucks. Moving forward, ideally, he would like Cliff or Nicole to win the next HOH and take out Jackson or Holly so that none of them have to do it. They don't lose those jury votes. Okay, so Kat continues on her campaign trail. She's talking to Jess next, and she says, Jess, I want to go to the end with you and Nicole, and I want to take you to the final two. She says she is really targeting Jackson now. People are not believing her, but it's for real. She wants to target him. So she starts telling Jess the story of her, I guess, relationship. Not like necessarily romantic relationship, but like the journey that she's gone on with Jackson in this game so far. And this is something that she will end up repeating to a lot of different people. She's saying Jackson thought that I was just gonna be his little bitch, and you know, we were close from the get-go, and then supposedly that Grateful Alliance started on day one. Why didn't he try to include me in that? Like, what the hell was that? And she's saying he really put me in a shit position. He made me feel horrible about myself. And Kat says she doesn't want to leave this house until she gets to take a shot at him. So then Jess is like, okay, well, what do we do next? What's our next move if you take out Jackson? Who are we going to work with? Because we're going to need to solidify something else. So Kat suggests, well, why don't we set something up with Nick? He's already close to Nicole, and he'll be good in physical competitions. I'm sorry, why does anyone want to work with Nick? So then she's like, maybe we could work with Christy. I don't know. You guys are running out of options. I will say that. So anyway, Jess says that she's planning on voting for Kat to stay no matter what because they are tight, and you know, even if Kat is going, she wants to give her a vote. And Kat says she would do the same for Jess. So then Jess is telling Kat, you need to talk to Nicole about all this stuff. It's going to be tough, I'm not going to lie, because Nicole is super close to Cliff. So you've got quite a mountain to climb here. Also, Nicole has some trust issues with Kat because of the whole Nick thing. Remember? I feel like I've gone over this so many times this week, but if you're just tuning in, I don't want you to be like, what the F is the Nick situation? So, at the beginning of the week, Nick told Nicole that he thought that Cliff and Kat would be going up on the block. Nicole wanted to give Kat a heads up, so she told her about it, and she was like, it's just speculation, don't freak out. But of course, Kat freaked out, and she went to Tommy and said, I hear you're putting up me and Cliff. Nicole told me that Nick said that. Is it true? So, yeah, it got back to Nicole and Nick, and Nicole was not happy about it. So, Kat says, yeah, I really regret going to Tommy with that information. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so anyway, a little later, Jess is talking to Christy, and she's crying. She says she feels so conflicted right now. She doesn't understand anything that's going on. She's like, why would I vote out someone who would never vote me out? It just doesn't make sense. So Christy's telling Jess, you should vote out whoever you want. You know, this is your vote. So Christy says she loves Kat too, but let's not forget, Kat is attached to 2 other people. So she doesn't feel so good about Kat's connection to Holly and Jackson. So Jess is like, yeah, but I feel like Kat is getting caught in the crossfire. And Jess is saying she would love to see things blow up right now, but it's not her battle. Oh? You want to see things blow up? Spoiler alert, this place about to blow for real. So Jess, this is not the blow up, but it's building up to it. So Jess reveals to Christy that Holly has been talking a lot of shit about people that she's supposedly working with. So Christy's like, oh, what? What's she saying? So she says she would love if shit was aired out. And Christy says Jackson and Holly are still begging to get the 5 back together. So do what you will with that. So then Jess is saying Holly's been doing mean girl stuff. Holly told Kat that Sis's whole game is flirting with guys and that Sis is a mean girl. Where's the lie? I mean, it sounds pretty accurate to me. So they're both saying like, oh, I don't see Sis that way. I don't think that's fair. Blah blah blah. I feel like all of them have said this about Sis at one time or another, for sure. So it is hilarious that they're now like, what? Sis is so sweet. Oh my god. So they're both saying that they want Jackson and Holly out. Okay, cool. So Christy is also swearing up and down that the 5 are not getting back together. She swears on her sister's life, okay? But honestly, Christy doesn't want to work with Jackson and Holly anymore. She said that over and over again. She doesn't want to work with them. She wants to get rid of them. But I'm sure if Jackson or Holly won HOH, she'd want to work with them. Okay. So eventually, Kat joins Christy and Jess. And Kat starts crying. She says she feels helpless. She's embarrassed that she hasn't even won HOH yet and she's about to get evicted. So Jess and Christy are both trying to encourage her. Christy's like, oh, don't say that you're about to get evicted. She says Cliff hasn't even really campaigned to anyone yet. Come on, you've already freaking made a deal with him. Stop. So Christy's telling Kat, you really need to dig deep right now. You really need to think, is there anything that you can say or do that could potentially change things for you this week? So Kat's like, well, I don't get why people want me out over Cliff in the first place. I am targeting Jackson, and I've made that known to everyone. So nobody else, I'm not targeting anybody else. Whereas Cliff has dropped many names as targets. She says it's not fair. So Christy is like, well, it's not that I don't believe you, but a lot of people think it's kind of weird that you say that Jackson's your #1 target, but he was up on the block with Jack last week and you didn't vote him out. So, like, why? So Kat says, my vote wouldn't have been enough last week anyway. It would have made it like 4-4, and Jess didn't want to tie. So Christy's like, yeah, but Nick would have flipped, the house would have flipped, and Jess and Kat are both telling Christy, no. Nick wanted Jack out. Don't get it twisted. He may have been telling you and your crew otherwise, but Nick wanted Jack out. Honestly, I think that Nick would have kept Jack if the votes were actually there. You know that Nick wants desperately to get back in with the cool kids at any cost. So yeah, I think he definitely would have kept Jack around. So, but Kat didn't want to do it. She wanted to keep Jackson because she's working with him. So anyway, Kat campaigns to Nicole, and Kat starts off by apologizing again for going to Tommy about the info that Nicole gave her about Nick, blah, 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 blah. Nick's nominations, predictions, and Nicole's like, it's fine, we've already buried it, don't worry about it. Like, I've already forgiven you for it, it's fine. So then Kat gives Nicole a similar pitch, you know, what she told Jess, and she's like, I want to go to the end with you and Jess. Jackson treated me like crap, he's got to go, I want to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. So Nicole is crying. So many people were crying, oh my god. So Nicole says, I don't have that many friends in this house, and 2 of them are up on the block. She doesn't know what to do. So then Nicole is asking Kat, like, are you gonna gun for this next HOH competition if you stay? Because a lot of people have been speculating that maybe Kat is saying she would target Jackson, but then she wouldn't actually try for the HOH because then she wouldn't have to actually put up Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So Kat confirms, like, no, I would be gunning for that HOH to make the move, and then we could pull in Nick to work with us. So then Kat brings up that Cliff is pretty well known to be a deal maker in this house. So she's wondering, did he make some sort of a deal with, like, Nick, Tommy, Christy, Sis? So she doesn't know at this point that, like, yeah, Cliff has been making deals with them. But she's wondering, is it a thing? And Nicole says, you know what? I have thought about this before. Because when Cliff makes these deals, he's not, like, including everyone in the group. So it's kind of like, does he really have my back? Would he just sit back while other people take me out? So she says it would be good for her and Jess if Kat was still around because she wouldn't be accepting deals from other people. So Nicole says she still wants to hear Cliff's campaign, and then she's going to talk everything over with Jess, and then they'll see where they're at. Okay. So then the house guests took a little break from the game. They made their own Play-Doh, and of course, they made a bunch of penises and vaginas. That's so this season. Okay, anyway, that was our game break. So anyway, after, I don't even have anything to say about it. Cliff talks to Sis, and he's telling her, I'm down to make this final 6 deal when you guys are ready, because of course, Tommy is saying he doesn't want to solidify it right now because he made his promise that he's not making new alliances, blah, 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 blah. So Sis says, yeah, I'm on board for it. I'm into it. They both say that they would put up Jackson and Holly if they win HOH. You know that Sis wants to throw this HOH competition. She does not want to be the one to take out Jackson or Holly, but she's perfectly fine with Cliff doing it. Okay, so Nicole and Jess are chatting in the boat lounge. Oh, what do you know? Nicole says she was in the DR for like 2 hours and she was crying and she was all upset. It's almost like the diary room was trying to push her to flip her vote and keep Kat. I'm just saying. Anyway, I feel like that's a possibility. But Nicole says she felt like she knew what she was gonna do before. And then she heard Kat's pitch. And now she doesn't know what she's gonna do. So Jess says, welcome to the club. So Nicole's trying to figure out which path is going to be better for us moving forward. Who is going to be better for our long-term games? So then we've seen that Jess and Nicole are not the best strategists. So they try opening up to random pages in the Bible. They're looking for answers. I don't have time for this shit. So anyway, later they're talking about how Nicole is saying that she would love to give Kat the chance to take out Jackson after the way he's treated her this season. So she also feels like Kat would be better for them than Cliff in physical competitions. So it sounds like Nicole's actually thinking about flipping this vote. Okay, so then leave that on pause for now. Cliff checks in with Nicole. She admits she's really stressed out. That can't feel good for Cliff. But Nicole says to Cliff, you know which way I'm leaning, which would be to vote out Kat. But she says she just really feels bad for Kat. She really believes at this point that Kat would take a shot at Jackson. So Cliff is like, yeah, well, the others don't believe that that's the case. So then they're discussing the final 6 deal with Nick, Tommy, Christy, and Sis, and how when they get down to the final 6, supposedly it's going to be like a 3 versus 3 thing with Cliff, Nicole, and Nick versus Christy, Tommy, and Sis. But they're a little bit worried that Nick is more with the others than the 2 of them, so it's more of like a 4-on-2 situation. Like that 4 was together, and then they just tacked on Cliff and Nicole. Yeah, it really seems that way, doesn't it? Okay. Um, so then Cliff is saying that he feels absolutely horrible that Jess is not part of this final six deal, but he's also saying it's not necessarily the end for her because she is not supposed to be the target for like 3 weeks because that six wants to take out Jackson and Holly first, and then Jess. So Cliff is hoping that Jess would win an HOH within that time frame and get rid of somebody else and work her way into the final six, which is definitely a possibility. But Nicole is also saying that she's worried that she's going to be at the bottom of the totem pole in that six. But then she's also like, well, at least it gets us to six, though, right? And Cliff agrees. Okay, so then Cliff and Kat share a really, really sweet heart to heart. It was beautiful. And they're all like, whatever happens, we're still going to be friends after this. And Cliff is saying that Kat is like his honorary daughter. Aww. But oh my god, knowing what I know now about what's going to happen, this is messed up, guys. It's really messed up. So a little while later, Nicole and Jess are in the RV room. And this is where shit really starts to go down. Nicole tells Jess, I have to tell you something. This could potentially blow up my whole game, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So, she says that Jess is the only person that she can trust in this game. And Nicole reveals that both Nick and Cliff approached her about making a final six deal with them. Christy, Tommy, and Sis. Oh my god, did she really just tell Jess about that? So, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this in a minute. But to continue here. Nicole tells Jess, the plan is they want to take out Kat this week, then Jackson, then Holly, and then you. And Nicole says, I don't like it, I'm panicking, and it's just not sitting well with me. So Nicole's telling her, I just wanted you to know about this, even if it wrecks my game. I just wanted you to know that if it came down to it, like, I would never, ever put you up on the block. I would never do it. So Jess thanks Nicole for telling her. She's telling Nicole, don't freak out. This can all change if one of us wins HOH. So, like, it's going to be okay. So then Nicole is saying, you know, that's their plan if Cliff stays. But if Kat stays, who knows what could happen. So she says, me, you, Jackson, and Holly, that's 4 votes, we could keep Kat. And we could, like, rebel and go against the others. But then we would definitely be drawing a line. So it's something they really need to think about. And they don't even know if they can trust Jackson and Holly. Yeah, I don't know either. So they're going to have to talk about it more and think about it. So then Jess and Holly were chatting in the boat lounge. And Jess she's, you know, putting out some feelers. And Jess says, it's no secret. I'm voting for Kat to stay. So Jess then says, there's a lot of talk about a new six forming. And it doesn't include me, you, or Jackson. Or Kat. So Holly says, perfect. Great. They talk about how they both want to keep Kat this week. And they're wondering, could we get Nicole's vote? I don't know. They feel like she wants to keep Kat, but she's scared. So they're going to work on that. So then a little while later, Jackson, Holly, and Tommy are in the boat lounge. And Jess walks in, and Tommy's asking her, how are you doing, love? Are you okay? I'm obsessed with you. He didn't say it that time, but he says it like every 5 minutes, so whatever. Okay, so Jess is like, no, I'm not okay, but I'll be fine. So they're like, oh, we know it's hard. It's hard for everyone this week. We get it. And Jess is saying, I don't know what's true and what's not, but I heard it. So, yup, I heard it. And then she leaves, and Jackson, Holly, and Tommy are all very confused. They're like, what just happened? What did she hear? What is going on here? So then, a few minutes later, Jess and Sis are talking in the Target bedroom, and this conversation goes on forever. And I just want you guys to imagine, if you haven't seen this yourselves, just imagine what like an hour and a half long conversation is like between Jess and Sis. Now tell me, ask me about my day. So anyway, they talk for like forever. And Sis is asking Jess, what did you hear in the RV room? Like, what did you mean when you said you heard it? Because I guess she overheard Jess saying, yup, I heard it, because she said it really loud. So I'm thinking that Jess must have overheard Sis, Christy, Nick, and Cliff talking in the RV room, because they were talking in the RV room at the same time that Jess went into the boat lounge. So I don't believe that was actually on feeds, like Jess overhearing them, but it's definitely a possibility. Also, Jess knows about this freaking final six deal or whatever that's in the works, so maybe she was just like throwing that information out there and being like, yep, I heard something, and she was just trying to see like what she could get out of people. But then again, did she do that? I don't know. Maybe she really did just hear them talking. So anyway, Sis is asking her, what did you hear? And Jess says, I heard what I heard. Now repeat this like 20 times, and there you go. So then eventually Jess says, oh, I heard about a plan and understanding, and Sis swears she never shook on an alliance this week. She says, I haven't lied once in this game. That's a damn lie. Alright, so then Jess is like, okay, so maybe it's not an alliance, but more of an understanding that includes Cliff, you, Nick, and Christy. So Jess brings up, yo, the six shooters or whatever, you guys did lie about having your alliance before day 44 when it all came out. So, yeah. You've lied. Anyway, Sis says, no, like, Tommy didn't want any new alliances started this week, so it didn't happen. What? So Sis is admitting Cliff did say something to her earlier that made her want to keep him. I just realized how much my nostrils are flaring. Sorry. But anyway, no. Sis admits, yeah, he said something to me, and it's making me want to keep him. So we'll come back to that. But Jess starts spilling some tea. She says, just so you know, last week, Nick and Cliff both agreed that they were going to vote out Jack at the beginning of the week. So if they were telling you that they wanted to keep him, that's bullshit. They wanted him to go. And then Sis is saying, I want to keep Kat. I like Kat. We've been getting along really well this week. We've been getting closer. But I think that Cliff is going to take me further in this game. And Jess laughs. She's like, oh, you think that Cliff is going to take you further in the game? So then Sis admits that Cliff made a deal with her. Ah! So Jess says, Cliff made a deal with everyone. And then Sis says, I'm going to throw up now. So then Sis is like, okay, I feel like you're probably not going to want to answer this, but can you tell me who told you about these deals with Cliff? She says, this could change everything, including my vote this week. So Jess is like, it's not who told me, it's what I heard. Ah! So Jess says that she knows that Cliff made deals with Nick and Nicole, and she heard Nick and Nicole talking about it. So then Sis says, well, I don't know what to do now. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with this vote. I don't know what I'm going to do with my game. What does she know? I don't know. But then they start talking about Holly, and Jess is spilling some more information. She says, Holly told me that you were flirting with Jackson, and you were all up on him, and she was pissed about it. And Sis says, what? She's like, no freaking way. Holly's fake and a liar. And she also says that Holly talked a lot of crap about Kat, but she never told Kat about it. So then they go back to the game for a little bit. And Jess says, from what I've heard about Cliff's deals, it looks like there's another 6. And if it's not real now, it's definitely gonna be forming very soon. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Sis admits, okay, there was talk about making a new 6, but nothing official. No one wanted to solidify it yet because of Tommy's request. Oh my god, freaking Tommy's request. It's so stupid. So Jess was like, yeah, that's really stupid because you're basically saying that it's not official right now. Nobody's shaken hands on it or shook hands on it, but you're just saying that, like, after this week, you're going to. Mm-hmm. All right, so then Jess has some more info for Sis. She lets her know that she has heard Sis and Christy were laughing at Cliff running during the Tossed in Space veto competition, because he wasn't even playing in that competition, but he was going back and forth, bringing the arrows back and forth, being a nice person and being helpful, and they were laughing at him. And I remember Nicole so upset about this, crying and saying how messed up it was. So Jess says, yeah, I heard that you guys and Jack were making fun of him. And Sis is acting, and I emphasize acting, shocked. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe this. So she says she would never laugh at someone running. And then she says, we were laughing at Cliff running because he looked so cute. Oh my god, stop. So Sis starts crying and she's like, I'm not a mean girl. I would never laugh at or make fun of anyone or talk bad about anyone. So she says, I've never been the mean girl my whole life. I don't need to. You don't need to? Oh my god! So she says, I think Cliff running was the cutest thing in the world. So she says, I don't ever talk shit about people, ever! So, like, at this point, if I was on the show Los Spookies and I knew how to do, like, movie magic special effects, this would be the part of the spoiler where my head would start shaking and steaming and fly off of my body, because I cannot believe the words that are coming out of Sis's mouth right now. This is in freaking sane. So then, Jess says that Holly was the one talking about Sis and Christy and Jack laughing at Cliff. Okay, I'm sorry, but, like, Holly? Jess does say, like, oh, Nicole saw and heard it happening too, and she was crying about it later because it was, like, messed up. I honestly don't even remember if Holly was talking about it. She might have been talking about it later, but I feel like Nicole was the one who told everybody what was happening because she saw it. She was hosting. So, anyway, Sis is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay. So after all of that, Nicole talks to Kat. We're not done yet, don't worry. But after all of that, Nicole talks to Kat, and she lets her know, I'm leaning towards keeping Cliff. I'm sorry. So Kat's like, no, I appreciate you telling me. Thank you so much for being honest. But Kat is not done yet. So, I mean, Nicole also told her, like, this is not my final decision. So you never know what could happen. Okay. So then, let's go back to Sis. It is after 2 a.m. at this point, and Sis is pissed. So she's in the boat lounge with Christy, and she's telling her all about the conversation with Jess. All the information that Jess told her that she can remember. So Sis is like, yo, Jess knows about the final 6 deal. Nicole told her, and Holly's been talking all this shit about me, making me look like a mean girl. But I'm not a mean girl. And Christy says, I am done with Holly. So Sis agrees. She says, I'm going to go off on Holly, which she's said so many times before, but this time it's for real. So she says, I'm going to gun for that HOH and I'm going to take her out. So Holly says, oh, sorry, not Holly. Sis also says that Holly said that she was flirting with Jackson, and Sis says, I was with Jack, and if I wanted Jackson, I could have effing had him. Whoa! All right. So they say, they both agree, even with all this shit going on. Kat is not saying this week. She's not saying this week. They are keeping Cliff. That's what's going on. Oh, Jolene's here. Hey, Jolene. Okay. So then Holly comes in. Uh-oh. And, oh my God, you know it's going to be bad because Sis is facing away from the door. And Holly walks in. She does not turn around to acknowledge her. And Holly's like, oh, I can't see Sis's face. Like, what's going on? And it's so sad. It's so sad. So then Sis says, I'm not a happy camper with you right now, Holly. I'm not reading the chat. I just saw Jolene's name and I said hi. Hey to all you guys. Okay, so Sis says to Holly, apparently you're talking shit behind my back. And Holly is shook AF. So she's just like, wait, what? Like, what am I supposedly saying about you? Like, what's going on here? So Sis is like, oh, the Cliff running thing. You said that Christy and I and Jack were all making fun of him. And Holly's like, well, no. Nicole was crying about that. So you should ask her about it. Like, I don't even know why I'm involved in this. And Sis says, you said that we were disgusting for making fun of a little elderly man running or something. Yeah, she called Cliff a little elderly man. What? You're talking like he's freaking ancient. He's what, 54? Come on. So anyway, Holly says, no, how can I get dragged into this? She doesn't get it. So then Sis says that it's not just that. She's been hearing for literally the past 2 days or so that Holly has been dropping seeds about her. That Holly has been saying that Sis was in her ear during Holly's HOH week telling her to put up Nicole. She was! Oh my God! So Sis says, no, I don't say anything to anybody. I mean, substance-wise, she's right. But, you know, ooh. So Holly's like, oh, I never said that. But, like, Holly did say that because it was true. So anyway, Holly wants to know, who is telling you these things? Who is telling you that I've been saying these things? And Sis will not say. I wonder who was telling her these things. She just talked to Jess for like an hour and a half, put the pieces together. So at this point, this has turned into a GD circus. So people are listening in on the boat room conversation, a la day 44, and Sis and Holly are just denying all of the things that they've said about each other and that they've done. No responsibility. No responsibility. So this shit is just out of control. Things are getting crazy. It's a giant snowball getting bigger and bigger. So Kat is asking Cliff, this really got to me. I felt really, really sad about this. Kat is asking Cliff, why did you make a deal without Jess in it? And Cliff is like, I'm on the block. You know, I've got to do what I can do to stay this week. And Kat's just like, I'm so disappointed in you, Cliff. You promised that we were all going to work together, Cliff's Angels, and, you know, now you're making deals that don't include Jess? Oh, hold up a second. Is she freaking serious right now? Like, I have enjoyed Kat on this show more than I thought I would, but, like, are you seriously trying to be like this with Cliff right now? So, Kat is then also calling out Nick on this final six deal. Nick is denying it. I mean, they're being really semantic-y about it because you know they are putting this final 6 deal together, but they're like, it's not an alliance. We never said alliance. Come on. Cliff is also denying it because Kat was like, oh, well, Cliff told me that it was an alliance. And Cliff's like, no, I never said that. And then, Kat freaking outs Cliff's angels to Nick. She's trying to throw Cliff under the bus. She's lying about the whole timeline here because she's saying Cliff's angels was formed last week. Cliff forms new alliances every single week, you know, whatever is best for him at the time, and then he throws them away and makes new alliances. Cliff's angels was formed during Cliff's HOH week, and is Kat really gonna try and lecture Cliff right now about loyalty and staying loyal to Cliff's angels? Because did she not out Cliff's angels immediately to Holly and Jackson? Does she not have a deal with Holly and Jackson that does not include Cliff's angels? Again, I've enjoyed Kat so much, but this just really was upsetting. So it was almost as ridiculous as Nick scolding Nicole for not telling him about Cliff's angels. Ridiculous. He's like, oh, I've never made alliances that I didn't tell you about, and I can't protect you if you don't tell me shit. So gross. Okay, I don't like the way that Nick talks to Nicole. It's really nasty. So anyway, oh, before I forget, let me just tell you my thoughts on Nicole spilling the final 6 deal to Jess. I haven't fully had time to process it yet, or I haven't had time to fully process it yet, but I think it was dumb. I feel like she should have just gone along with it and like secured the safety of her number 1, who's supposed to be Cliff, and then like she could have just gone back on the deal. This is Big Brother. Do you really think that the other people in that deal have not lied to you and done you dirty this season? Do I need to remind you how they all threw you under the bus that one day and like totally tore you to shreds in the HOH room and wouldn't let you in to defend yourself? Yeah. I feel like it was really stupid. It was really stupid. And it's disheartening because Nicole was one of the few people that I felt like I could still root for, but like, she's not good at this game. She's not. All right. So anyway, after everything, it appears that Cliff still has the votes to stay. People are pissed at Jess because Holly is throwing Jess under the bus, and like the 5 are trying to like smooth things over and be good with each other. So now all of a sudden, Jess is the scapegoat. They want to make sure that they're all good before the next HOH competition, and Jess is pissed at Nicole because she made Jess feel like there was a chance that Kat would stay, and now she's still planning on voting Kat out. It's a real cluster. It's a cluster. So right now everybody's just in like deny mode. All the people that are involved in that not final 6 alliance, they're all saying there was never an alliance. And yeah, people are just trying to cover their asses before the next HOH competition, which by the way is supposed to be on the live feeds tonight. So I'm assuming it'll be some sort of endurance. Maybe it's slip and slide. Maybe it's like the one when they're swinging around. Maybe it's the wall because they haven't done that yet. I don't know, but I feel like most of those competitions are going to be best suited for really annoying people. So it should be a great week coming up. But again, I'm assuming Kat is going, but you never know what could happen when those feeds go down, and we've seen it before. So I'm guessing it's going to be a 4-3 or 6-1 vote for Kat to go, depending on if Jackson and Holly stick with her or decide to ditch her when they see the votes aren't there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Because I guess like the live shows in like what, 15 minutes or something. This took a really long time. I just glanced over at the chat and I saw somebody mention Mr. Rogers, and it reminded me that Sis doesn't know who Mr. Rogers was. I feel like that explains a lot. All right, I'm gonna go now. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It's fun doing these live shows. Thank you for watching. I feel really hot right now. I need liquids. And I'll see you guys for the live eviction recap. So, all right, bye. Thanks so much for watching. Until later, much love.